All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, Barakatham. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the Ruel, and the salute and the Shalom to all the Akim that are out here labor pushing this truth in all sincerity and in truth. I typed in on Google, how important were vows in the ancient world, right? It says, I'm not sure of the title of this lesson yet, but it says vows in the ancient world were profoundly important, acting as sacred, binding commitments to deities or people, often with severe consequences for breaking them, serving as a primary form of legal and social contract before written law, and demonstrating deep personal piety or gratitude as seen in biblical narratives of faithfulness. Jephthah and Jacob says, and pagan customs of dedication, Nazirite vows, Norse pledges. I don't know what that is, but I'll look that up. They were serious undertakings, sometimes elaborate, sometimes simple, but always carrying immense weight from one's spiritual and earthly standing, right? So, right, man, so when it came to vows, right, when people swore an oath in the ancient world, man, where they made an oath, they were expected to carry out the oath. See? Now Esau, he swore unto Jacob that the birthright was his, right? Let me get that. Genesis 25. Genesis 25 and yep. Genesis 25 and 33, it says, and Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. It says, but Jacob said, first you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. See? So Esau, he swore that the birthright was his. Before he even gave him the birthright, he swore that it was his. So Esau, you can't go back on what you said, man. You can't go, you cannot go back on the oath that you swore, man. You said that the birthright was Jacob's. You can't go back on that. No. You got to stand on what you said. You got to stand on business, man. Now, let me get this. Oath. Oath definition, right? Oath, a solemn promise, often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future action or behavior. Wow. Vow, promise, pledge, affirmation, attestation, word of honor, guarantee, bond. See? So Esau swore an oath to Jacob before selling him the birthright. Esau said, Jacob, the birthright is yours. I swear it's yours. See? Now, let's get Ecclesiastes, I think it's 5. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 5:4. It says, when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed, right? It says in the NLT in verse 4, when you make a promise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, don't delay in following through, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua takes no pleasure in fools. Keep all the promises you make to him. It says, better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. See? All right, man. So when we came in, all right, man. So when we came in, all right, man. So when we first came into this knowledge, when we first came into this truth, man, we made a vow, man, that we would continue until our Lord Yahushua comes back. We made a vow. So the vow that we made, it must be paid. You can't go back on what you said. You made all right, you made a vow, you made an oath. Unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you have to pay it. You ain't got no choice. Let's get this. This is Genesis 28:20. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if Yahweh will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and I will give him, it says, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on. So that I come again to my father's house in peace. Then shall Yahweh be my power. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be Yahweh's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. See, so Jacob vowed a vow too. And he kept the vow. All right, this is Numbers 30:20. Numbers 30:20, it says, God, all right, this is the law of vows. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which Yahweh hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. Right? It says, if a woman also vow a vow unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house, in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul, her father shall hold his peace at her. Then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vows, or of her bonds wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand. Right? So it says, if a young woman makes a vow to Yahweh Shemashah or pledge under an oath while she is still living at her father's house, and her father hears of the vow or pledge and does not object. See, man? So a father of so the father of a young woman, right? If he hears his daughter make a vow, right? And if he don't have a problem with the vow, then hey, then right, and he don't say nothing, cool. Then she has to pay the vow. But says, but if her father refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledge on the day he hears of it, then all her vows and pledges will become valid. Colin says will become invalid, meaning they won't stand. Yahweh Bashemal Shah will forgive her because her father will not let her fulfill the vow. Right? Now, so basically, be a man of your word, man. Be a man of your word. This is Deuteronomy 23 and 21 to 22. It says, when thou shalt vow a vow unto Yahweh Shemashah thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for Yahweh Shemashah will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee. So if you don't pay the vow, right? So if you don't fulfill the vow that you said you would have fulfilled, it's a sin to you because you didn't do what you said you was gonna do. It says, but if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. Right? So if you don't make a vow, then you're good. It says, that which is gone out of thy lips shalt thou keep and perform, even a freewill offering, according as thou hast vowed, unto Yahweh Shemashah thy power, which thou hast promised in thy mouth. See? Let's get ain't it in the book of, cause Jephthah, he vowed a vow. But first, let's see what is a Norse pledge. Norse pledge, meaning, okay, Norse pledge. A Norse pledge or oath was a sacred, unbreakable promise deeply tied to honor and loyalty, often sworn to gods or like Odin or Thor, oh wow, or to leaders using objects like rings or swords as witnesses, carrying divine consequences for breaking it. Wow. All right. Now, Jephthah, he made a vow, right? Even though his vow was a foolish vow, he still had to pay it anyway. He didn't have a choice. Now, let's get Jephthah 144. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemashah. Jephthah. Okay, Judges chapter 11. Judges chapter 11. Says, let's see. Not going to get the whole thing. But, okay. Jephthah's tragic vow. It says, now, Jephthah's name in Hebrew is, let's see. Jephthah, okay. Yaphathak. Yaphathak means he opens. Yaphathak. Man, I'm gonna name one of my sons Yaphathak in the Hebrew, man. I'm gonna name one of my sons Yaphathak in the kingdom, man. Wow. I like that name, man. Yaphathak. Let's go. So it says, then the spirit of Yahweh Shah came upon Jephthah, came upon Yaphathak, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mizpah in Gilead. And from Mizpah of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto Yahweh Shah and said, it says, and Yaphathak vowed a vow unto Yahweh Shah and said, if thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whosoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, surely, it says, shall surely be Yahweh's. And I will offer it upon, it says, and I will offer it for a burnt offering. Right? Now, Jephthah, he wasn't even thinking about his daughter. He wasn't even thinking about her, because he wasn't expecting her to walk through the doors. He wasn't expecting that to happen. Right? It says, so Yaphathak passed over to the children of Ammon to fight against them. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aor even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards, with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances. She was his only child. Beside her he had and beside her he had neither son nor daughter. Right? And when she came out, he was like, oh no. Oh Lord. Oh, why did I do that? Why did I make that vow? Right? It say, and it came to pass when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said, alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low. Thou art one of them that trouble me, for I have opened my mouth unto Yahweh Shah. I can't go back. I cannot go back. Right, man? So even Jephthah knew the importance of the vow that he made, man. He even said himself, I can't go back. I got to do what I said I was going to do. He was like, damn. Man, I know Jephthah was hurt, man. I know Yaphathak was hurt. I know he was hurt, man. Ooh. Now, and his daughter said this, and she said unto him, my father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto Yahweh Shah to do to me according to that which thou hast, to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth, for as much as Yahweh Ba'ashem Shah hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. She said unto her father, right? So she basically said, Abba, whatever came out of your mouth, do it. right? And she said unto her father, least it says, let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and be well. Says that I may go up and down up upon the mountains and bewail my virginity and my fellows, right? But first, let me do this one thing. Let me go up and roam in the hills and weep with my friends for 2 months, because I would die a virgin. And he said, go. And he sent her away for 2 months. And she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow, which he had vowed. And she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel, right? So Yaphathach's daughter, she died a virgin. See? So Jake, that's how important a vow is, man. What comes out of your mouth, man, you must keep it. You must keep the vow, man. All right, man, and I don't give a damn if it hurts you to keep the vow. So what? All right, man, it came out of your mouth, you said it. You better pay it. You ain't got no choice. Consequences. The stories of Jephthah, who fulfilled a devastating vow, and Absalom, who broke one, illustrate the extreme gravity and potential repercussions. Hold on. Let me see. Absalom's vow. Let's see. 2 Samuel. Okay. Let's get 2 Samuel 15. Second Samuel 15 and 7 to 8. But I'll start up. It says, Absalom's conspiracy. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him. It says that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, that Absalom called unto him and said, of what city art thou? And he said, thy servant is one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, see, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man disputed. God says, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. And Absalom said, moreover, or that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or case might come unto me, and I would do him justice. And it was so that when any man came nigh to him to do him obeisance, they basically bowed to him and kissed his hand. Yeah, right. He took them by the hand and kissed him. Right. Says, and on this manner did Absalom to all the tribes that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow which I have vowed unto Yahweh in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode in Geshur in Syria, saying, if Yahweh shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve Yahweh. And the king said unto him, go in peace. So he arose and went. But Absalom sent spies, and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes, saying, as soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. Right, man? Now, did Absalom, did he pay his vow? Let's see real quick. Hold on real quick. But vows in the ancient world, man, were very important, man. You had to keep them. You had to keep the vow that came out of your mouth, man. If you said it, you must fulfill the vow, man. You did not have a choice. All right, so with that, I say shalom.